Oh, anyway, are we ready?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if it works. Okay. Thanks everyone for coming tonight, and welcome to Isn't That Interesting? We're going to study the topic. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Isn't That Interesting? Tonight's topic is texting, and we will be discussing how it affects our linguistic abilities, our face-to-face communications, and our emotional intelligence. What intrigued me to research this subject is my self-observation of the students that I'm working with ever since I started back to college. They seem to be having a difficult time um, communicating in the chat rooms and in email. I'll ask a question, they'll either not answer at all or they'll answer in just a few words, really no content. Another observation I have is when I'm trying to have a conversation with my grandson, and all of a sudden you hear this noise, and he's grabbing at his pocket and pulling out his BlackBerry and just texting away. What bothers me about this is that the youth of today are actually living by an addictive hypnotic trigger. When they feel that vibration or hear that tone or that ring, they immediately got to know what's going on in the world and possibly even sending a text out. So another observation of mine is on the news just the other day. The recruiters are saying that they're having a hard time filling positions because the graduates that are coming in are having a difficult time communicating in the interviews. So they're not able to fill those positions. So what is academic research saying about texting? Well, first off, the youth is texting in class, but they have a reason. They either don't feel fully engaged in the studies or they need a way to alleviate stress. And to alleviate stress, they often go to read a text or short email, which gives them the ability to replenish and re-engage back into the studies, which is a positive thing. However, neurologists are saying that this multitasking, the ability doesn't have the brain, or the brain doesn't have the ability to effectively process and interpret the information that they have because of the multitasking. But this isn't true for the net generation. The net generation have been multitasking ever since they were infants. I'm sure you can all relate to the fact that you've seen an infant in the back seat, in a car seat, watching a DVD movie and either playing with a toy or doing a color page. They've learned to multitask all their life. They've actually trained the prefrontal cortex of their brain to efficiently multitask. So that is why when they read an email or a text message in class, that they actually show an improvement in their GPA. So allowing technologies into the classroom not only makes the student more comfortable, but they get a higher GPA. So as far as the effects of texting, we see a difference in the age group. They researched the preteens in Finland and England, and they found a direct positive effect on their literary abilities when they were texting. They also noticed that the abbreviations they use are all phonically based, and because they're phonically based, the more they use them, the more they increase their awareness of phonics and their literary creativity. If we move up to the middle school, Penn State found that texting hinders the student's ability to switch between textese and more formal grammar rules, which they directly related that to a drop in the grammar scores in the middle schools. If we move on to the high schools and to the college students, we have the University of California who surveyed, and they determined that texting made a positive association on the informal writing, in which the students did, and a negative on the formal writing, which isn't so hot. But on Siena College, they checked to see if texting in class is making any effect on the GPA and found no effect whatsoever. So texting is not really affecting our linguistic abilities, but it is displacing our face-to-face communication, which is a given. Any other media does the same thing, the television, radio, your newspaper. You have to look at it this way. If we're taking away face-to-face communication, we're taking away 93% of the interpersonal communication. So we're losing all the tone of voice, the eye-to-eye contact, the body language, the facial expressions. Taking all that out of language is going to make an impact on the understanding and the quality of our communication. So we're only using that 7% words, and what's going to happen there is we're going to have an impact on our emotional intelligence as well. So we're going to lose or compromise our ability to develop emotional intelligence skills. We won't learn how to exhibit or read those communication cues because we won't be using them. So it's going to lead to more misunderstanding. We're going to not know how to change our tone of voice or our style of speech according to the situation. Eventually that's going to lead into us having issues with conflict management and problem solving. And it could even make it difficult for us to cope with life's demands, and eventually will damage the quality of our life. So what have I learned from all this? I learned I'm a baby boomer, and I'm hoping that's a plus for me, that I will get a job over one of these next generation people out there, because I might be able to communicate better. And also I've learned that when I'm studying and I just get that urge that I need to step away and I jump over to Facebook real quick or email and find out what the family's doing, that's a release for me. It's a positive release, and it enables me to get back to my studies. And as far as the third thing, I've learned that we all need to set up some kind of controls or structure to make it so we benefit from the usage of modern technologies and the negative effects do not affect our life. So I've made a list of my own here, and I think you should do the same. And since I wasn't correct in the linguistic part of my analysis, I do want to pose a question to all of you today before you leave, and that is, how do you plan to control the triggers of text messaging in your everyday life? I want to thank you for coming here tonight, and I hope you tune in to Isn't That Interesting next time. Good night.